Afternoon, Carl Deffenbaugh with you here, back on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Been a minute for me. It's been some of my colleagues handling duties the last few days. Been nice to be back on here with you on Fox Local, the Fox 6 Milwaukee YouTube channel as well. For this first hour, Ben Handelman will be handling the second hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk, as we are here for you each and every Monday through Friday from 12:30 until 2:30. A number of different news items we want to get to. We'll do a quick wraparound of what we're tracking at this hour. First and foremost, always great to get a shot of Lambeau Field, of course, and on the left side of your screen there, the yellow outlined or framed building, one of the training centers for the Green Bay Packers, who continue training camp with their very first preseason game just a few days away now. It's this Saturday when the Packers will host the New York Jets coming to town. There used to be a lot of ties between the Jets and the Packers with Robert Saleh, the former coach of the Jets. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, the former quarterback. Both those guys are out the door, and the Packers are instead welcoming a new regime and a new era of Jets football to town for this first preseason game. First of three for the Pack coming this Saturday ahead of the season opener against the Detroit Lions in September. It'll be curious to see how much of the supposedly key players for this season will actually get on the field. Do you get the first round pick, the wide receiver, Mr. Golden, first chance for fans to cheer him on against another team? Perhaps, hopefully. How much will Jordan Love play? All of the questions to be answered for the Packers, hoping for another successful season in the NFL this year. You can also make out in this picture some of what most of Wisconsin is dealing with, and I'll steal a graphic from our friendly weather experts back there in the Wisconsin weather expert office. This is the air quality, unhealthy for so much of the state, moderate just for a little bit of Green Bay and down here in Milwaukee, but you can see our viewing area, southeastern Wisconsin, many parts dealing with the unhealthy, sensitive category, and much of the state actually in that orange. This has been the case for, it seems like, weeks now at this point, not quite 2 full weeks, but the air quality continues to be a concern for us here in Wisconsin, as well as other parts of the state. We'll give you a live picture now from, let me get it for you, downtown Milwaukee. This is actually one of the clearer pictures we've had in recent days. You can make out the clouds in the blue sky instead of just that general gray haze that we've been through for so much of this stretch. So yeah, Milwaukee County, the city of Milwaukee specifically, getting a bit of a reprieve from that wildfire smoke today, but it's not expected to last. These wildfires are still burning quite badly in Canada, and it appears that that is giving us a bit of a reprieve, but then we'll be back for the weekend along with some hotter temperatures, according to our weather experts once again. Why not give you a shot of the Empire State Building? This is the Big Apple, a beautiful shot, but again, speaking to some of the issues, almost looks like it's a sunset or a sunrise picture there of the Empire State Building, framed perfectly by the other skyscrapers in Manhattan. But no, that orange tint to the sky is, yet again, because of wildfire smoke affecting so much of the country right now, the air quality issues all the way from the Midwest out to the East Coast, with that interesting shot of Manhattan not supposed to look like this at what in Eastern time zone is 1:33 in the afternoon right now. So a lot of the country dealing with this. We are also waiting on a number of other things that may start soon. But in the meantime, let me get you caught up on what is the big story of the day so far. And this comes to us also from the East Coast. This is, let me check it for you, down in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, close to the coast there of the Atlantic Ocean. This is a live picture from a hospital near Fort Stewart in Georgia. A tough story to tell you about here, but 5 soldiers at that base, and excuse me, that is one of the reporters getting there, about to do a live report, so let me make sure we don't catch something at the wrong moment there. But to tell you more about what's happening in Savannah, Georgia, 5 soldiers, were shot Wednesday in Georgia. That led to a lockdown at Stewart before the shooter was arrested. So not an active shooter situation at this point for the other military members at the post. This is the largest Army post east of the Mississippi, and the Army is still investigating this, saying the injured soldiers were treated and moved to Wynn Army Community Hospital. That was the shot that we just showed again, and once that reporter is done with her segment, we'll try to get you back for another live picture from that hospital. So far, no threat to the community. That's according to the U.S. Army in a Facebook post from base officials. law enforcement sent to that 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team complex shortly before 11 a.m. this morning. Again, that's East Coast time, so just before 10 o'clock Central Time. The shooter was arrested about 35 minutes after that, and the lockdown at the base lasted about an hour. 3 schools, actually, just outside of the base took steps similar to a lockdown as well, just according to out of an abundance of caution, according to the Liberty County school system there. The complex, though, still locked down, and we'll see where this goes. If you're not familiar, this is the Army's 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, created only back in 2016 when the service added more than 200 vehicles to an infantry unit of roughly 4,200 soldiers. So they're known as the Spartan Brigade down there. The Army has called the unit its most modern land fighting force. And all of this is happening just about 40 miles or so southwest of Savannah, Georgia, a popular tourist spot certainly during these summer months as well. Fort Stewart, as I mentioned, largest Army post east of the Mississippi River and home to thousands of soldiers as well as family members who live there on the base. So here is what we know again. 5 soldiers have been shot today. We are waiting to hear more about the conditions of those soldiers. The shooter was arrested, according to officials. So those soldiers are receiving medical treatment at the Wynn Army Community Hospital there near Fort Stewart in Georgia. We'll continue to bring you updates on that throughout the Wisconsin Live Desk today. Certainly sending best wishes down there to those military members. Not the day anyone expected to have there at that base, the biggest one for the U.S. Army east of the Mississippi River. One other thing that we'll pull up for you here, this is, let me get you some information on what this is, a statement right now expected from California officials. This is a live picture from Los Angeles right now, where the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, is expected to hold a press conference in Los Angeles to address and announce a public awareness campaign trying to protect Californians and prevent abuse within the hospice care system. So think anyone going through hospice care, a lot of elderly people, maybe you've sent your parents to hospice care or the like. Well, this is leading to some issues in California, and the Attorney General is going to hold a press conference supposed to start any moment now. So if that does, we'll try to catch some of it for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A public awareness campaign trying to protect Californians and prevent abuse within the hospice care system, coming from the California Attorney General. And I just saw that reporter, that's that New York shot once again. That reporter just stepped out of the screen. So let's get you that live picture right now here on the Wisconsin Live Desk from Wynn Army Community Hospital. This is located near Fort Stewart, the base where a shooting happened this morning. 5 soldiers shot. They were treated and then taken to this hospital for further care. No threat to the community in this area of Savannah, Georgia, about 40 miles away, in fact, from Savannah, inland from the Atlantic coast there. And the shooter in this case was arrested. So we're hoping for some more updates. As of now, there's been no release about the condition of those 5 soldiers shot today or what exactly happened. An active shooter incident, though, that started just before 11 o'clock this morning local time at Fort Stewart in Georgia. So as soon as we get any information on the status, the health of those soldiers that were shot, what exactly was happening here, and perhaps most importantly, who that shooter was and what the motivations are, as that shooter has been arrested following this. So not a case where the shooter took their own life, but instead maybe we will get some answers on a motive possibly for this shooting at one of the largest Army bases in the U.S. today. All right, with that, we are going to take a short break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A couple things we want to make sure we get for you over the next 50 minutes or so, but in the meantime, a quick break, and then we'll be right back here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. A live look at downtown Milwaukee City Hall with the flag blowing in the breeze, and thankfully a little bit of a reprieve in the smoke department from that wildfire smoke, although we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to that. Much more to come on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Thanks a lot for checking it out on this Wednesday afternoon.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Carl Deffenbaugh hanging out on this Wednesday afternoon for the first hour of Wild, as we like to call it and joke here at the FOX6 studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We'll give you a live look right now down Wisconsin Avenue. How appropriate there in the campus of Marquette University. Now you get a sense for some of the conditions, certainly the haze on the horizon as the wildfire smoke continues to impact us here in southeastern Wisconsin and really across much of the state and the Midwest. But that is not stopping people so far from enjoying the Wisconsin State Fair. We roll right along here on this Wednesday afternoon, fast approaching the final weekend of the fair, the so-called best 11 days of summer. And some of the people that you can check out tonight, is it just me or has State Fair really stepped it up in terms of the entertainment and musical acts over the last few years? Let me pop this up for you. The headliner tonight at the Bank 5-9 main stage, Jon Pardi coming to town. You know it's going to be a party when he's in town. Going to perform at State Fair tonight with Colby Acuff. I'm not familiar with Mr. Colby or Ms. Colby's work there, but you'll get to see that as the opener before Jon Pardi does indeed take over. A bunch of songs that you'll recognize and rock out to tonight. Dirt on My Boots, Beer Can't Fix, Heartache on the Dance Floor. There's a lot. As you can see, he's going to bring it to State Fair tonight. Kind of fits with the country theme, right, of the largest agricultural showcase in the state. So if you're going tonight, you can check out some tickets on the State Fair page, but it's going to be the Bank 5-9 main stage with Jon Pardi rocking out tonight. Still have Darius Rucker to look ahead to over the final weekend and some other performers as well. How about getting to the State Fair? Let me pop that up for you. Some different options for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and each and every day as you're going to the fair. $15 parking, the bicycles park for free if you want to make the ride down there. And ride shares are options as well as Dousman transportation shuttles and bar and restaurant shuttles as well, just like a Packers or a Brewers game here in town. All right, I mentioned this before we took that first break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but we want to get you back out to the California Attorney General right now. Just stepped to the podium speaking about an effort to protect Californians, especially from abuse in hospice care situations. Scary to even consider that, but unfortunately it is a reality. Let's listen in to the California AG right now, speaking on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
The radar will hold those attempting to defraud our healthcare system accountable. At the heart of this initiative is a simple principle. People deserve to be protected, not exploited in their most vulnerable moments. In the greater Los Angeles area, particularly in Van Nuys, Glendale, Burbank, and North Hollywood, we're finding that hospice fraud has been a pervasive issue. It's so widespread that the Department of Healthcare Services had to impose a statewide moratorium on new hospice licenses in October 2023, which moratorium remains in effect until at least January 2026. The scale of this problem is staggering. Hospice fraud has drained far too many resources from California's Medi-Cal system. We've uncovered a few of the more obvious red flags through our investigations. Hospice providers are billing insurance for people who don't even exist, also known as ghost patients. They're enrolling patients who are not terminally ill. They don't need hospice care. There's been no diagnosis, no prognosis for these patients. They're signing up multiple patients at the same address. They're enrolling patients who live far outside the service area. And in some cases, hospice providers show extremely high rates of live discharges, or patients who stay on hospice for well over a year, which simply doesn't align with what true hospice care is. This isn't just abuse of our healthcare system, it's a cruel manipulation of both patients and their families seeking dignified end-of-life care. My office's approach to combating hospice fraud is both retrospective and proactive. On the enforcement side, we've launched numerous criminal and civil investigations. We've filed criminal charges against 109 defendants. We're involved in 24 civil investigations. We're working hand in hand with federal agents and other state agencies. And we've conducted dozens of knock-in talks with suspicious hospice storefronts across Glendale and Burbank, literally knocking on doors, talking to people, asking questions, learning more. This fraud isn't just about dollars lost. It's about real harm to real people. In one of our cases, for example, the owner of a hospice company was keeping 6 elderly and severely disabled residents in an unlicensed facility. Riverside Police found them living in unlivable conditions, without basic care, malnourished, and clearly neglected. The owner was using them to bill Medi-Cal for hospice services that were never provided. When police arrived, all 6 had to be hospitalized immediately. In another instance, a Medicare patient was enrolled in hospice without his knowledge or his consent. When he went to see his nurse practitioner, the bill for the visit was denied, and he was told it's because he was already in hospice care. That meant his primary care office couldn't treat him, where he could actually get real health care that he needed. He was left without his regular doctor, stuck with the medical bill, and unable to get the care he needed. Also, someone else could profit off the system. These cases underscore why this work is so important. Fraud like this doesn't just cheat the system, it hurts patients and endangers lives. We're sending a message today. If you're committing fraud, we will find you, and we will prosecute you. But enforcement alone isn't enough. That's why today's initiative also includes major proactive measures to educate, to engage, to stop fraud before it starts, including a consumer alert to help Californians spot and report suspicious hospice activity, outreach to local law enforcement, medical providers, and the public, and a public awareness campaign. Here in Los Angeles, including radio PSAs and a billboard you can see when you're driving on I-10, so Angelinos know what to watch for and where to go if they suspect abuse. I also want to take a moment to urge anyone who suspects fraud to report it at oag.ca.gov/DMFEA/reporting. We're here to help. We want to hear from you. Hospice fraud is a betrayal of trust. It undermines the care that families count on when they need it most. To those committing fraud, we are watching, we are investigating, and we will take action. I want to take a moment to recognize my hard-working team at DOJ's Division of Medi-Cal Fraud and Elder Abuse. They're on the front lines of this effort every day, and they've made this initiative possible. They've been getting after it, holding folks accountable. We know there's more to do, and that's why we're launching today's initiative. So I want to say thank you, and now I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there any criteria that's going to change with this legislation that's going to, I guess, be more critical or be a better filter for the fraudulent hospice operators as far as, like, how long the duration is of hospice care? I know some people have they're on hospice and then not on hospice, and then they realize they couldn't, like you stated, couldn't get medical care after that because their insurance doesn't not qualify for that because they're supposed to be in hospice. But is there some way you guys can proactively change criteria, or have you changed criteria to try to filter those people out? And then the other thing is there a way that you're going to notify families if there is family that's actively engaged in the person's end of life? It seems like this may be a vulnerability for people that are, childless or without family in the area, where they could get preyed on a little easier. But it seems, for most of the people I know that are in hospice have family that can be watchdogs.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing along those lines? I know there's multiple questions.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So let me take the second question first. Are we going to notify victims, and what about some of the more vulnerable members of our community who could get preyed on? We certainly notify victims as we learn that they're victims. But part of what we're launching today with this initiative is a set of educational materials, opportunities to contact us, where we expect and hope for affirmative outreach to us, where people will tell us that they are victims themselves, or they're aware of people in their community who are victims, and then we can take action and step in. So we're inviting participation from the public with today's action. It will help us do our job better, have a broader impact, and really crack down on the hospice fraud that we see. So But certainly, as we learn about victims, we make them aware. Folks, unbeknownst, as you have mentioned, to them maybe sign up for hospice care and someone's getting paid for services that they're not actually providing, and then when they actually try to get their actual health care from their primary care physician, they can't get it. So to your first question about changes in the rules or approaches, to me this is a sort of all tools in the toolbox approach. We're really focused on what we do. We do enforcement. We're with our affirmative outreach today, our PSAs, our bulletin board, our hotline, our portal. We're inviting participation of the public to share with us their information they have about hospice care fraud. But there can also be tightening of the application process when hospice care providers seek licenses. We can really have some strong quality controls to make sure that it's appropriate and that they're qualified. When patients sign up or are signed up, we want to make sure that they're aware, they're informed, they're educated about what hospice care is, that they're actually receiving it. So we've been in touch with some of our sister departments and agencies to help put into place some of those safeguards, some of those quality controls. Enforcement is a big part of the effort to crack down on hospice care fraud, but also increasing the quality controls can help as well, as you appropriately point out. And so it's a both and. We're doing both.
While the California Attorney General there continues to take questions, we have to take another break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Much more coming, including an amazing story from our Waukesha County reporter, Brett Lemoyne, that you'll definitely want to stick around for what he's working on today. Hoping to get that for you here in the next 10 minutes or so on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But for now, we'll give you a shot at downtown Milwaukee, looking better than it has in the past few days, with a bit of clearing from that wildfire smoke, although we're certainly not out of it yet. Much more to come on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Thanks a lot for watching on this Wednesday.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk, here with you on this Wednesday afternoon. We want to get you to another press conference that just started moments ago. This is Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno, just up to the podium, discussing a brawl in Cincinnati, downtown Cincy, that has sparked outrage online. Note here, Moreno, a Republican senator, has criticized the mayor of Cincinnati, the police chief, and other leaders for their handling and for the safety in the downtown part of Cincinnati. Let's listen in live to the senator discussing the brawl.
And the police chief. And while I will always be transparent and tell you maybe that meeting started a little rough, it ended in a pretty good place. By the way, I also give props to the governor. He brought his head of public safety here from Columbus as well. And look, what we've committed to do is to work together, city, county, state, and federal, to make certain that what happened about 8 or 9 days ago never happens again. That's the guiding principle. We want to make certain that anybody who lives in Ohio can come to any of our cities. By the way, this isn't just about Cincinnati. This is also a message for Columbus and Cleveland and Akron and Youngstown and Dayton and Toledo, that all of our cities have to be safe. Safety is paramount. That is a minimum requirement that any elected official should insist on. Prosperity is the second piece, because a lot of this is fixed with prosperity, and we're doing that between the tax certainty with the One Big Beautiful Bill, putting more money in the hands of working Americans with that bill, securing our border, fighting drug trafficking, a tariff policy that's going to bring more good, high-paying jobs and opportunities for America is all part of the picture. But today, it's about, look, we have to do better as a community. Holly has graciously agreed to be here, and let me just say this. The one part of the story that I found, honestly, as you see the word despicable, is when Holly was lambasted in the media as a Russian woman who fled to her country. As you can see, she has neither fled nor is a Russian woman somebody who's born and raised here in Ohio. And I think shaming victims is something that we should never allow to have happen again. So Holly's here for one simple reason, it's the same reason I'm here. How do we make certain this never happens again? We're going to talk to some of our state legislators to see if we can put something in place that I call, with her permission, calling Holly's Act, which is how do we raise the bar on minimum sentencing, minimum bail requirements. We have to be much more transparent with our judges. Our judges can no longer hide behind their cloak, and they have to be held accountable for not upholding law and order. The police know this every day. They risk their lives to arrest these criminals. They go out and make difficult arrests. But when judges undermine that by giving criminals a slap on the hand, and when we in the federal and state side don't put in enough strong sentencing to punish these people, then the result is what it ends up being. So we're going to work on that.
That is Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno there, and you saw a quick wide shot including one of the victims in that brawl in Cincinnati that has reached quite a lot of people, both online, seeing videos of it, and then the reaction to it in the week plus since that happened. Now, while that continues, I do want to tell you about something else that we have coming here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. This is a live picture from the lakefront. You can tell the beautiful setting. I believe this is right near Harbor House there along Milwaukee's lakefront, for what will be a press conference inviting people to the 2025 USA Triathlon, both sprint and Olympic national championships taking place in Milwaukee. This is coming August 8th through the 10th. They've become Milwaukee has become a regular stop along the triathlon tour, and really a key destination with that beautiful lakefront to run, bike along, and then the breakwater there to swim in Lake Michigan. So that is coming momentarily. We'll get you that as soon as it starts there along the lakefront. But in the meantime, we want to get out a little farther away, although sticking with water sports, so to speak, for an interesting story from our own Brett Lemoyne joining us. Brett, I don't actually know what body of water you're alongside there, so take it away. This is a fascinating story and a good sign that maybe for the rest of us, there's hope. If you've never been able to get up on water skis, you're not too late to try.
Well, I've never been on water skis in my life. I couldn't imagine doing it, but we met a woman, a young woman, Carl, at the ripe old age of 80 years old. You'd never know it if you looked at her. She's in fantastic shape. She's got an incredible energy. Her name is Camille. We met her here. This is Fowler Lake in Oconomowoc. It's just a beautiful, beautiful spot. She tells us she likes to come out here and water ski sometime. She's lived in Oconomowoc pretty much her entire life. And she says this is one of the best kept secrets for water skiers, Fowler Lake. But the reason why we talked to her, Carl, is because of this. she had both of her knees replaced just about within the last 2 years. And she's able to get back to doing what she's loved her entire life. She's been water skiing since she was 12 years old. And so we got video of her out on water skis, loving life and loving this newfound ability that she has to be able to go out onto the water. She had problems for about a year before she talked to her doctor at Aurora Summit and said, you know what, I'm just not able to, I can't even climb stairs. That's how bad things got, Carl. She couldn't climb her basement stairs. And this is, again, a woman who loved water skiing so much. Carl, here's the thing that I think is fascinating about this. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Hit me, Brett.
All right, here we go. We think the population, not only of the U.S., but just the world in general, right? It's aging at a pretty rapid rate, more so than previous generations. And so when we look at the statistics, now this was published in the Journal of Bone and Joint Surgery. Are you current with your subscription, Carl?
You know what? I think I've unfortunately let it lapse, but only over the last few months. So if it was the recent issue, I just missed it.
All right, well, this was just published. They say, get ready for this, by 2030, which sounds like a really long way away, but it's only 5 years from now because it's the year 2025 we're living in right now. News flash. Yeah. Breaking news.
Wow, right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
I'm telling you, I'm sharp as a tack. By the year 2030, the number of knee replacements in the U.S. alone is going to skyrocket 673%.
Wow.
We talked with a surgeon today, Camille's surgeon, who says that is basically because, again, the population of this country is aging, and these surgeries are needed. They're going to be needed even more so. The surgeon that we talked to said he does more than 400 of these surgeries in just 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
So that also speaks to, just not only Waukesha County, but this region in general for the need for these. The average age, take a guess. Carl, what do you think the average age is for
I think you might surprise me. I would guess it would actually be a little bit lower than I probably would have assumed. So let me go with like 55 to 60.
No, you're very close.
Oh,
62.
Okay. Well, it's from that subscription I've been reading.
Oh, Carl, yes, you need to renew. But yeah, I was surprised by that as well. So we learned a lot. And you know what? The biggest takeaway to this whole thing, Carl, is the recovery time, right? We tend to think that this is a surgery that, you have to spend weeks, if not months, recovering from. Camille, the woman we interviewed, she says she was back on water skis about less than 3 months after her first surgery. She did her left knee in November of 2022 and her right knee in September of 2023.
That's amazing.
And so she said the recovery time was pretty quick, actually, for all things considered. But the biggest takeaway, Carl, and the thing that we have to stress, especially to any seniors that are watching this at home right now, is that for people who had an active lifestyle before the surgery, it is so much easier to recover from after, right? So you think about that. You got to, what do we hear? Like a body in motion stays in motion. So the people that are able to have an active lifestyle throughout their entire life, they're able to recover from a surgery like this much, much faster.
Yeah, it's good advice and good reminder to stay active, too, up until the point that you need it. I'd be curious, Brett, maybe both from that amazing woman, but also from the doctors that you were speaking to. I'm a little bit familiar with this because both my mother and my uncle have gone through replacement surgeries, and I think probably for a lot of people, it was kind of, they kept thinking of it as a last resort, try to deal with the pain until the end, because it's obviously a big decision. But from what I've heard, especially from my uncle on the other side, he's like, why did I wait so long? It's been life-changing in terms of the relief from pain after the fact. And I imagine a lot of that is because of advances in medicine, that they can do these surgeries, they get people back on their feet so quickly, and then they're able to resume a much healthier, more normal, active life.
Yeah, and that surgeon that we spoke with at Aurora Summit today, he said that exactly what you just said, that in the 5 years that he's been doing these surgeries, and again, he's done like 400 of them in 1 year alone, that the procedure and the recovery time and the technique that they use for these has changed so much in just 5 years that it is really night and day compared to how it was when he started in this profession. So yeah, big changes for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, speaking of technique, I got to ask you, Brett. So you did not, intrepid reporter that you are, attempt to water ski for this story?
No, I didn't. You can tell that by the fact that I am completely dry.
I just thought you did it exceptionally well.
Go out. Yes, I was covered in head to toe for a full body poncho. No, but my gosh, when you look out here on Fowler Lake, don't you just want to go in?
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful day. There's just a wonderful breeze. It's a nice temperature, and look, water skiing is it's a taxing hobby, right? It's not easy when you're out there. So think of it that, I mean, for an 80-year-old to be doing this is incredible.
Yeah, let alone with a couple knee replacements as well. I have only tried a couple times and mostly failed to get up on water skis, but you at least get a sense for just what a physical endurance it requires to be up there. I don't know if she spoke to this a little bit, Brett, but there is this amazing culture of water skiing. Of course, anywhere there's lakes, it's popular, but it seems like especially in that part where you are out in Waukesha County, near Lake Country, of course, when it comes to the show teams that we see performing throughout the summer, of course, recreational water skiers, that's like a whole other world.
It is. I mean, they don't call it Lake Country for nothing, right? I mean, you got your pick out this way, and they're beautiful, picturesque scenes like the one behind me here. Of course, we can't not mention, right, our Bill Miston, our beloved colleague, who is a water skier, who's part of the Pewaukee Water Ski Club. And I always take my family out every Thursday night in the village of Pewaukee at Lakefront Park. They have a water ski show during the summer. It's amazing. Now, Camille, the 80-year-old we talked to, she said she's not getting up on top of a pyramid.
All right.
She's not doing that.
Well, not
right?
yet,
she draws
right?
The line.
She's still, recovering from the two surgeries.
She draws the line at that. Exactly. Well, you know what her goal is, Carl.
Oh, let's go, Brett.
Her goal is to match, at least match, the record setter in this country for the oldest female water skier. How old do you think?
Oh my gosh.
The
All right.
oldest
I'm
female
liking the
water
Brett
skier?
Lemoyne trivia today on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
I got him.
I'm going to guess it's pretty old. Let's go like 95?
Oh, you're just 91.
Oh, man.
91. So Camille, she's got 11 more years. I told her, I said, if you're doing this in 11 years, you call me up and I'm going to be here and we're going to get video of it and we're going to make this one for the record books for sure.
Send it to Guinness or something like that for the world record, right? Or at least the U.S. record in that case.
Yes.
I guess if we're doing Price is Right rules, Brett, I went over. So I wasn't closest to without going over it in my guess of 95.
It's okay.
We'll save it for the next time. Can't wait to meet her when you bring us this story a little later today. Thank you so much. A beautiful setting. Definitely, tough assignment for you out today by Lake Fowler.
Definitely. Thanks, Carl.
All right, we'll let Brett get back to his story today. Look forward to that one tonight. Brett has a way with words. Let's just say that. One of our best reporters here at Fox 6. And when he's dealt, it sounds like a character in a subject like this, it's going to be interesting. But man, hopefully it does maybe inspire some other people to consider that, not fear the possibility of surgery so much because of, the advancements that have happened and all you can do even after a major surgical operation like that, a replacement surgery. So pretty cool stuff. As is the case with all of our reporters that join us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Look for those stories later this evening on Fox Local. You can also, if you're not watching the newscast tonight, find the story after the fact as well. Really quickly, let's get you out to the lakefront again. I believe we are prepping here for this press conference with US Triathlon back in town. Let me see if this is actually starting or if they're just doing mic checks and whatnot. But this has become a major event for sporting culture in Wisconsin, and certainly here in the Milwaukee area, hosting these USA Triathlon Championships repeatedly over the last few years. So looks like they're still maybe getting ready, and you know what? when we have an amazing other camera to show you, let's sneak this in because this just popped up from our feed, taking you all over the country, including to an island in the Pacific. This is Hawaii. You thought Brett had an amazing backdrop today along Lake Fowler here in Wisconsin. How about this? And let me make sure I get this correct for you. This is the Kilauea volcano, which has been erupting periodically in recent weeks and certainly a lot of this year. Incredible to see. This is live right now on the Wisconsin Live Desk from, I believe, Volcanoes National Park is the national park out there that houses Kilauea, erupting as we watch. And just amazing to see the power of nature there in the rim of fire out there in parts of the Pacific, the Hawaiian island chain. This is Kilauea, the volcano, erupting once again. Live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Wow, just amazing. Okay, let's get you back to that press conference just underway. Let's listen in.
Community, and celebration. Now, sports tourism is one of the most powerful tools we have to showcase Milwaukee on a national stage. It drives meaningful economic impact, strengthens community pride, and reminds visitors and residents alike just how special the city really is. That's why we're thrilled to be hosting the USA Triathlon's 2025 Sprint and Olympic Distance National Championships and Para-Triathlon National Championships here in the heart of downtown Milwaukee. This is the 7th time Milwaukee has served as host city for this national event, and we're proud to say we'll be right back here again next year. That continued partnership is a testament to what we've built here together as a community: athlete-friendly infrastructure, stunning natural beauty, and a warm welcome from every corner of our city. This weekend, we expect to welcome approximately 15,000 attendees, including athletes, families, fans, and volunteers from across the country. The estimated $6.7 million in economic impact is a major win for our local restaurants, hotels, and small businesses. And it's one of the many reasons we work so hard to bring events like this to Milwaukee. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank some of the local partners who help make this event possible year after year. Milwaukee County Parks, led by Guy Smith and his incredible team, the Bartolotta Restaurants, who ensure our hospitality is second to none, and Discovery World, our neighbors and enthusiastic supporters along the lakefront. Thank you also to our law enforcement and EMS partners at the city and county who work to ensure that our guests and locals are safe throughout the weekend. We couldn't do this without you. This weekend's events were also made possible thanks to the generous support of our sponsors: Advocate Aurora, Uline, Festival Foods, Cousins Subs, and Molson Coors. Your commitment to elevating Milwaukee through events like this truly makes a difference. Thank you also to our local volunteers and the countless staff members behind the scenes who help ensure this event runs smoothly and safely, like our entire Visit Milwaukee and Sports Milwaukee staff. Your hard work and dedication does not go unnoticed. We're so excited to once again share Milwaukee's vibrant lakefront, thriving neighborhoods, and world-class amenities with visitors from across the nation. And we can't wait to cheer on the athletes as they race through our streets and shoreline. Now, over the next few minutes, you'll hear from several leaders who have helped make this event possible and who will share why Milwaukee continues to be one of the premier host destinations for USA Triathlon. First, I'd like to invite Chef Paul Bartolotta, co-founder and owner of the Bartolotta Restaurants, to share a few words about what it means for Milwaukee's hospitality industry to welcome this world-class event.
Thank you. So just super excited about this weekend. Here we're on the patio at Harbor House, the Bartolotta Restaurant, with the view of this incredible lakefront. And again, we are exceedingly excited about hosting these incredible elite athletes that are coming here from around the country and around the world, you know, just to be part of what, and their teams that are coming. So for us, we embrace everything we do with a culture of connectivity and how do we hug the guests when they come into our city. And so all these small businesses, all the restaurants that are here, all the hotels are really focused on showing our hospitality heart when they come to our city and to make you feel welcome and want you to continue to come back to visit our city. So we are here not only to cook for you, but to make you feel welcome and part of this incredible community. And again, we are so proud of our park system that we have these miles and miles of protected parks along the lakefront just to showcase it. So we're just beyond excited to do what we do. So welcome to Milwaukee.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Now I would like to welcome the incredible Guy Smith, Milwaukee County Parks Director, to share why parks provide the best venue for this event.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I also want to thank U.S. Triathlon for choosing Milwaukee once again. This marks another proud moment for our city and for Milwaukee County Parks. We're honored to help host an event of this magnitude on our lakefront. From route coordination to grounds preparation and safety support, Milwaukee County Parks has been working closely with USA Triathlon to ensure everything runs smoothly for athletes, spectators, and staff. Our team is deeply committed to delivering a world-class experience. Milwaukee's lakefront is not only stunning, but also built for this. With miles of shoreline, urban parkland, and scenic trails, it provides the perfect setting for swimming, biking, and running at the elite level. Events like this remind us why public spaces matter. They bring people together, they drive national attention, and create memories that last a lifetime. Parks are more than green space. They're platforms for recreation, celebration, and community. Hosting USA Triathlon boosts our local economy, supports tourism, and showcases Milwaukee as a destination for outdoor adventure and the competitive spirit. It's a win for our parks, our people, and our city. We're proud to welcome athletes and families from across the country. Whether you're competing, volunteering, or cheering from the sidelines, thank you for being part of this incredible moment in Milwaukee parks. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Now I'm pleased to introduce Brian D'Amico, Director of Events at USA Triathlon. Brian has not only been instrumental in bringing this incredible event to life, but he's also been a valued partner to Sports Milwaukee since the first national championships in 2013. Brian.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you to all the incredible partners, as you can see here, and some that aren't here, and agencies that have been so supportive of this event, which USA Triathlon's largest and longest running event. As mentioned prior, for the first time ever, Para-Triathlon National Championships is being held in conjunction with Sprint Olympic Nationals, and we couldn't be more excited. This amazing opportunity for elite para-triathletes to race in the spotlight and for age group athletes and spectators to watch para racing up close is incredible. Para-athletes are redefining what it means to push boundaries and really see what's possible. Those racing, we're super excited to welcome these athletes that compete in the Paris 2024 Paralympic medalists, including Grace Norman, Haley Dans, Chris Hammer, Carson Clough, Kendall Gresh, Mark Barr, and Alyssa Seeley. We are so excited to be back in Milwaukee. The city has hosted triathlon, sprint, and Olympic distance national championships 6 years prior, with this being our 7th year, most recently from 21 to 23, and then 2013 through 2025. Milwaukee has really become one of the most iconic host cities in USA Triathlon's history, offering a scenic and energetic race environment on the shores of Lake Michigan. Racing will kick off on Friday with an open water swim competition starting from the Discover World Dock. Saturday we'll see Olympic distance national champions crowned starting at 7 o'clock a.m. And Sunday will feature Para-Triathlon National Championships starting at 6:30 a.m. and our Sprint Distance National Championships starting at 7:10 a.m. We're thrilled to be back here. As mentioned, we'll be back again and once again in 2026. And really, the city's commitment to creating a world-class experience for both participants and fans makes it a natural home for our marquee national event. At this time, I'd like to introduce local triathlete Jason Capon. He'll be competing in both the sprint and Olympic distance races this weekend. Earlier this summer, Jacob won 3 national titles at our Multisport National Championships Festival in Omaha. He's a USA Triathlon certified coach and works as an assistant professor of physical therapy at Marquette University. He works at Marquette's Athletic and Human Performance Research Center, where he conducts studies on the long-term health of athletes in Life After Sport Trajectories Lab. Jacob?
Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you to USA Triathlon and the city of Milwaukee, as well as all the sponsors for making this wonderful event possible. As an athlete and local resident, I'm super excited to be racing both on Saturday in the Olympic distance race and on Sunday morning for the sprint distance race. As mentioned by Brian, I've got a few different hats or roles that I play, so I can speak to you both as a triathlete. I've competed in over 100 triathlons prepared a few stats. So I've competed in over 100 triathlons in at least 18 different states. I've won over 25 USA Triathlon certified events, including 5 Ironman 70.3s and 3 recent national championships earlier this year. I'm also an assistant professor of physical therapy at Marquette University, where I direct the Life After Sport Trajectories Lab. Our mission is to improve long-term health in athletes. I also am a professor of physical therapy, where I teach kinesiology to our Doctor of Physical Therapy students at Marquette. So I have kind of a unique perspective as both an athlete and as a professor and clinician scientist, both as a licensed physical therapist with a PhD in biomechanics. And I'm really delighted to be here and to speak with you all about those different roles and opportunities. So Milwaukee is a great host city. I've had the privilege of racing here before. I actually moved to Milwaukee in August 2021, actually just a week or two after the event was hosted that year. But I've competed in the USA Triathlon National Championships here in both 2022 and 2023. And now, of course, I'm excited again to race this coming weekend. We have a great venue, a great course. Obviously, to host an event like this, you need a lot of different things. You need a safe place to swim, bike, and run all within a close area, and we have all of that. The swim within Lake Michigan, clean, crisp waters is fantastic, protected area, launching off the Discovery World. The bike over the Hone Bridge is a really, really cool experience. The course is totally closed, which is essential for both for athlete safety, as well as just for the experience overall. So that's a huge win. And then the run course is along the lakefront, again on Milwaukee Park trails. We oftentimes get a little bit of a cool breeze off the lake, which is really nice as an athlete. And it's just a great place to run and to race. And we've got a slightly new location for the finish line. It's going to be epic. I was actually on my long run Sunday morning and seeing them starting to set up. It's a great venue, a great place to be. And it's going to be just a lot of fun to race and get out here with several thousand other athletes from across the country. So a few other stats. I've done triathlons in at least 18 different states, and have had the privilege of knowing athletes from across the country, and everybody loves coming to Milwaukee. This is a fantastic venue. Yeah, that's right. So it's a fantastic venue for triathlon. The city just embraces us. It's again, it has all of those things that are necessary to host a race of this scale, both to have accommodations for several thousand people and their families to come from all over the country, and then having safe places to swim, bike, and run within a reasonably close area. So again, Milwaukee is just a fantastic venue, and super excited for it to be hosted here this year and again next year as well. So with that, I'll be happy to take questions, and I'll turn it back over to Marissa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacob. It's amazing to hear your story and cannot wait to see you compete this weekend. Thank you to everyone for attending today's press conference. We invite you to come and enjoy the competition along the beautiful lakefront at any time this weekend. And now I open it up to questions. And if there aren't, we also will have time, obviously, for individual interviews that can be arranged by Claire.
I guess,
oh, go ahead. The economic impact is about $6.7 million. Do you need me to repeat or go more into more detail? Yes. So the economic impact is $6.7 million, and we take into account the hotel overnight stays, obviously the people coming in from out of town, flights, gas, their time in the restaurants, the time in attractions. So all of that adds up to the overall economic impact when you've got about 15,000 people attending here, and close to, I would say, about 80%, 90% from out of state. Say close to that.
Can you talk about some of the factors that came into play and how you guys got this?
Well, we have been hosting this event since 2013, and it came originally from some local triathletes who had this vision of hosting the event, the age group sprint and Olympic distance national championships here in Milwaukee. And they came to our organization and involved us. And so it just started from simple conversations. We had to meet with numerous different entities. We were looking at routes going north through Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, Mequon, Fox Point, to then finally settling on this route, which has really worked very well for us, for the county parks, for obviously St. Francis and Cudahy as well. They've been fantastic partners.
I think you kind of covered it, but I think I'll ask another
Sure.
question. Besides, obviously we had the Harley Davidson last month. What kind of future do you see for this area specifically on the Lakeshore Drive going to the future? Maybe expanding other opportunities economically, other events?
Sure. We are always looking for new events along the lakefront, but I would also ask, Guy, in regards to being the main host at the parks, as to other events that he may be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great question. So we have an amazing lakefront. Obviously, USA Triathlon is huge. We had Harley Fest. We have the Air and Water Show. But there's just a whole host of events, even that are smaller. We do a lot of walk runs, a lot of different opportunities. And we also recently have been working with a Friends group for Friends of Veterans Park. We've been part of a lot of the lakefront convening meetings that have been going on. So we're trying to work with all the partners along the lakefront to make it even better than it currently is.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good and done right before. I guess right in the middle.
All right, well, they handle some photo opportunities there after the big announcement. USA Triathlon, the championships in town this weekend. Great to have a local person that accomplished to root on and cheer for this weekend as well. Sounds like a pretty fascinating story and much that you can enjoy this weekend here in Milwaukee. It's summer in Milwaukee. There's always something going on. Those people are working a lot harder than the rest of us when it comes to what it takes to perform and compete in a triathlon, something I've never done. Along with water skiing, we're handling a lot of those here on today's Wisconsin Live Desk. All right, it is just about time here as we approach the 1:30 handoff with Ben Handelman right outside the door, ready to take over for me. So why don't we leave you with one of the more fascinating shots that we've had today, and that would be a live camera from Kilauea, the active volcano on Hawaii's Big Island, erupting once again. This eruption, series of eruptions, started back in December of last year, continuing today. You can see the smoke, and then behind it were these amazing lava flows, some of them hundreds of feet in the air. Watching it live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll leave you with that, and Ben will be up with the second hour of Wild, as we like to call it, after this. Thanks a lot for watching.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. I'm coughing to start. That's not a good start to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Wow, was that an active hour with Carl? I did not have 80-year-old water skier on my bingo card today, followed by USA Triathlon in town, and then this really cool shot. Live picture from Hawaii. Kilauea putting on a show again. As Carl mentioned, this volcano has been erupting time and time again. And look at all of that lava shooting out. Incredible shot there. So we're watching this. I've got some new feeds. I'm just trying to get settled in here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So we got the stock market. We've got new shots coming in from our national partners. So while I get settled here and while you're on watching this amazing shot of volcano, let me take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes and we will see where the next hour brings us on the Wisconsin Live Desk, which is exclusively on Fox Local. All right, here we go. We're off and running.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman, hey news nerds. Wisconsin Live Desk, Wednesday, 1:35, 1 hour down, one more to go. Got a new feed just up. Tanner Hemker, our photojournalist out at the airport. Something fascinating is about to take place out there at Mitchell as the remains of a soldier who died during the attack on Pearl Harbor is about to be returned to Wisconsin. This is just incredible. This is the remains of U.S. Army Air Force Private Herbert McLaughlin. So McLaughlin was one of those young soldiers from Wisconsin who went overseas, 31 years old. 31 years old when Japanese forces attacked a military base in Hawaii, December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor is where he was killed. He was assigned to Headquarters Squadron, the 17th Air Group at Hickam Airfield. This was on the island of Oahu. That attack happened. He was killed, but his remains were never identified. They were put in a cemetery. Long gone, not forgotten though. So it's been a long time. In 1949, the remains were buried in the National Cemetery of the Pacific, known as the Punch Bowl. But then in 2019, 12 sets of remains were exhumed for further analysis. And McLaughlin's remains were accounted for last December. His family was finally notified. They sort of knew what had happened, but obviously they didn't know where he ended up. So they have identified his body, and now they are returning the body to Wisconsin. The soldiers from Shawano, so the remains are being moved back here to Wisconsin. The plane is about to land. We expect in the next 10 minutes or so. That will happen, and then there's an honor guard that will meet the plane and take the remains off of the airplane, and then there will be a proper burial with a headstone, with a name on it, up in Shawano. And his family no longer lives in Shawano. He does have relatives who live in the state, so unclear if they will be attending these ceremonies, but every soldier, so important for military members that everyone's accounted for, even if it happens, this many years later. 1941 is when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened, and he was 31, this U.S. Army Air Force private. Herbert E. McLaughlin, set to come back to Wisconsin, so we are watching that amazing shot. I got a new picture. I think this is Eric Adams on the screen here, New York City mayor. There's a New York event going on there as this race for mayor heats up. Let's see what they're talking about here. I'm not sure if this is an Eric Adams event.
The income limit is $50,000 for the whole household. So you, your spouse, your kid, whoever lives in the apartment, $50,000. If you meet the requirements and if you join the program, the city pays any increase in rent. It's frozen. It's rent freeze. So whatever your current level is will stay your level. Will stay your rent for as long as you live in that unit, and the city will pay any increase in your rent. So it sets you. You're able to manage whatever your current situation is, but it means that your rent will go up, your situation will get harder. We don't have programs for like Con Ed, but covering part of your rent is for most people a huge burden. So the income limit again is $50,000. The age is 62. So if you, your spouse, if somebody in the household is going to be 62 by the end of the year, you apply for SCRIE, S-C-R-I-E, Senior Citizen Rent Increase Exemption, and exactly what you asked the mayor, the city does pay part of your rent, which hopefully makes other bills and the rest of life more manageable for you going forward.
The important part of that is that this administration has been canvassing the city and getting people to apply for SCRIE through our PEU unit. The earlier you apply, the sooner your rent gets frozen and the better it is. So this administration has been going around canvassing to get as many people enrolled in SCRIE. And even if you're a little bit over, enroll anyway, because we're looking at legislation to see if we can change some of those levels. So you got to be in it. It's like the lotto. You got to be in it to win it.
Yes. You said, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As the commissioner said, and you can go to your council member also to apply, but happy to help you while we're here. The longer you're in it, the more beneficial it is. Some people join and the Rent Guidelines Board raises rent by whatever, 2%, 3%. And they say, why this isn't worth it? Why am I part of this? But if you're in it for 5, 10, 15 years, however long you're going to stay in that apartment, it compounds. It becomes more and more valuable, and the savings becomes more significant as time goes on.
So this is a live picture, Brooklyn, New York City. That's Eric Adams there, the mayor of New York City, who is fighting for his career, and he's meeting with, this is a senior town hall. He's listening to senior citizens. You can see on those stools back there, those are all members of his administration. But the mayor, who was wrapped up in a criminal investigation before the charges were dropped, now facing former Governor Andrew Cuomo. There's a liberal Democrat who won the Democratic primary, and Eric Adams is also running and many believe he is an uphill battle, but obviously as this race gets closer and things get more heated, all eyes are on the biggest city in this country. Let's hear Eric Adams, what he's talking about here with seniors in New York City. This is live from Brooklyn.
I just, if your financial situation changes, there is an opportunity to recalculate. So if perhaps someone passes away, or you lose a job, or you retire and you're not going to work anymore, so you have your income limit is going to go down and stay down for the rest of the time in the apartment, there is an opportunity to recalculate based on your income.
Okay. It's an opportunity to recalculate. So really, the moral of this conversation and hearing what was just stated, find out what resources are available. You'll be we leave so much money on the table that resources are available from SNAP, Cash Assistant Program, SCREE, DREE. There's just so many things that the city is doing, and it's important to find out what resources are available for me. And like your recalculation, you may be able to recalculate and bring down the cost of that SCREE. You're in the program, your rent is frozen. You was in the program since how long? Since 2014, that's 20 years. 10 years. You know, I'm bad at math like the other guy. That's 10 years. So imagine if you were not in SCREE, every year getting that increase in your rent. So you save by being in SCREE. So find out all of these resources that you're available, everything from reduced fare Metro card. Some of you may have medical debt, number one cause of bankruptcy. We are excusing medical debt. Some of you may be low income that you should not be paying income taxes. Some of you may live in NYCHA or Section 8 where we are paying for high-speed broadband. We need to, in order to survive this, it's not a one act. It's the accumulation of all the resources that we have and that we are giving to you. That is how we're going to bring down the cost of living in this city.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
I want
Yes.
to give folks one more piece of information for this. So apply for the programs.
All right, so that's Eric Adams out there in New York City. We got that live picture from Brooklyn. I just want to show you some of the other live shots that are coming in right now to the Wisconsin Live Desk, because, again, never know what's going to pop up from time to time. One of the most fascinating things we continue to watch, look at this shot of the Kilauea volcano out in Hawaii. It is erupting. It has been over the last several weeks. But this is an incredible sight, as look at the lava shooting out from this Kilauea volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii. One of my favorite South Park episodes of all time was where the South Park characters were learning how to survive a volcano, and they were told through a video that all you have to do is crouch, and then the volcano will go right over you. Newsflash, it doesn't work. And I think it got Kenny. I think that's how Kenny didn't survive that episode. And I always think about that when I see a volcano, although it's pretty rare to see a scene like this. Look at all the smoke and steam and nastiness coming out of the air in Hawaii. A lot closer to home, we've got our own smoke concerns. There's the current air quality. That smoke plume has moved a little bit out west. So Waukesha, out in Lake Mills, Dane County and Madison, Walworth County, Lake Geneva. It is really bad today for the air quality, as you're in the unhealthy for the sensitive people. Now, it's getting a little bit better. It's not as bad where it was unhealthy for everyone, where we were the worst air quality in the U.S., but the air quality is still not good as we are dealing with Canadian wildfire smoke. And we're hoping that this will get out of here in the next couple of days as our weather pattern's finally shifting. Although when the weather pattern shifts, we will then be dealing with the heat as humidity. I mean, you can feel it out there. It's 82 degrees right now. Humidity's ticking up. By the weekend, we're going to be in the 90s with oppressive humidity. But with that heat and humidity, it's going to get the wildfire smoke from Canada out because there's a high-pressure system. I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm acting like one right now. But there's a high-pressure system, and that is the circulation of the high is bringing in the Canadian wildfire smoke, as they have, I believe, more than 16 million acres currently burning. And most of those fires in Canada are in remote areas that they can't get in and get firefighters in there to put it out, and there's no structures to save. So in Canada, they just kind of let it burn, because what else are they going to do? And then we're feeling the effects of that, not only here, but from Minnesota all the way to the East Coast. Parts of Connecticut and New York, they were in the worst air quality in the U.S. yesterday. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We got to talk about, there is a shooting that happened on a military base in Georgia. I've got a live picture up as we continue to look for updates there, and we are still awaiting any minute now the remains of a World War II soldier, someone who was killed at Pearl Harbor. The remains were identified, and finally, all these years later, they're being brought back here to Wisconsin. So we got our eyes on the airport. All of that's happening here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
What's going on, news nerds? Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. 151, 82 degrees. It is Wednesday. From our studios here in Southeast Wisconsin to you who could be anywhere around the world as long as you got the internet connection. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube, or maybe you're watching us here on Fox Local, which is really the best way to watch us because we've got all the stories that we're following that you'll see here on the live desk. You can click into them here on the app. I want to show you some of the shots we're watching. Live picture from the airport, and there is a small plane. I was like, is that a helicopter? I think it's a small plane. Small plane moving through. Tanner zooming in on it for us. Tanner Hemker's out there, our photojournalist. Something incredible is about to occur as the remains of a Shawano airman killed during the Pearl Harbor attack are about to be brought back to Wisconsin 81 years after he was killed. This is U.S. Army Air Force Private Herbert E. McLaughlin, 31 years old, when Japanese forces surprised the world and attacked the military base in Hawaii. That was December 7, 1941. McLaughlin was killed, and days later he was moved to a cemetery in the area. It was known as the Punch Bowl, the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. Actually, it was 2 years later when the remains ended up there. That was 1949. And that's where the remains were. That's where McLaughlin's body was for, all of these years, was just out there in the cemetery, no headstone, no identity. The family never, they sort of knew what had happened, but never knew where he ended up. In 2019, 12 sets of remains were exhumed for further analysis. Technology, obviously, in the last 8 decades has gotten a lot better. We can now identify remains from basically down to the micro scale. And McLaughlin's remains that were finally accounted for last December. His family was finally notified, and now today, all these years later, those remains are being brought back to be buried in Shawano, up in the Green Bay area. And the VFW post up there, 2723, they're honoring this Air Force private who was, missing in action in many ways out there during the attack in Pearl Harbor. So the remains are being brought back. There is an honor guard that will greet the airplane. And you can see Tanner, our photojournalist, he is at the airport waiting for this plane to arrive. And he's got eyes on the airport, and if we spot some of that honor guard out there on the runway, we will bring that to you. But just an incredible story that we're watching for you live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Another shot as that American Airlines flight is arriving right there. Not sure if that's the plane, but or that's a different plane. But so Tanner's he's got eyes on that, and he's watching all of this kind of unfold for us. But really, really incredible that someone who was killed during Pearl Harbor is finally being returned to Milwaukee and Wisconsin today. Another thing we're following for you is what's going down out in Georgia, as there has been a shooting on an Army base. This is Fort Stewart. This is a hospital nearby in the area, and this is one of the largest Army bases in the country. According to the Associated Press, 5 soldiers have been shot. It happened this morning. We do not know the condition right now of those 5 individuals, but we do know that some of them were brought here, rushed by ambulance to the hospital. A lot of unanswered questions, but there was a complete and total lockdown of the Army base for a short time. If you've ever been on one of these Army bases, and there's one of the reporters there from this shot, you know that how they're basically little cities. To have a complete lockdown is very rare, and something very serious has to happen. So the shooting happened. According to authorities, the suspect has been arrested. The Army just saying we're investigating the shooting. But again, we don't know the condition of the soldiers. We don't know the scope of their injuries. They've been moved to the Wynn Army Community Hospital. So that is where we are looking right now. Again, this is the Wynn Army Community Hospital near that Army base out at Fort Stewart. Now, Fort Stewart, it's, the nearest city I think would be Savannah, Georgia. So we're talking eastern Georgia here. We know some were also taken to Memorial Health University Medical Center in Savannah, according to a spokesperson there. So, yeah, that's a little bit farther away. Not sure. That is the top-level trauma center I'm now seeing for coastal Georgia. So the most serious would be there in Savannah, while the less serious taken to the community hospital, which is closer to Fort Stewart out there. I will say the lockdown has been lifted. It lasted about an hour. 3 schools just outside the base, they also, just as a precaution, an abundance of caution, they went into a lockdown. That's according to the Liberty County school system. Again, that's where a lot of the kids are. And now we're seeing, okay, some movement. We got a doctor here and a nurse, but he's drinking a Coke, so I don't think he's here to provide any information. But let's listen in just in case.
I'm Shay Schrader, WTOC.
Shay?
Thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate your time.
Sure.
We also have somebody from JCL. Bryna asked us to wait until she gets back. Before we do all this, what exactly can you talk about? I know you can't talk
I'm
specifics.
supposed to not talk about anything having to do with the actual patients that we have right now.
Okay, so the reporter's talking to this, looks like a medical professional here at the hospital. Okay, so that is the Memorial Health Center now, and we've got our eyes on it. So this would be in Savannah, where the most serious of the conditions are, most serious patients were taken here. Maybe Delaney, can you look up how many miles it is from Fort Stewart to Savannah? We'll try and get that answer for you. But as you can see, we are following along with one of our affiliates there as they're getting set up for this press conference. So apologize on that. Actually, you know what? As they get ready here for the press conference, and I will try and take this to you live, I want to get you back out to more locally here to the airport, because I'm looking at this shot from Tanner, and he's got some eyes on, you know, here's the challenge that I think Tanner's facing. They don't really tell us which plane it is that this World War II veterans' remains are coming in on. So Tanner's doing a good job showing all of the planes that are coming in. And then if you see an honor guard that arrives beneath the plane, then we'll know that's the plane. So there's a Southwest Airlines flight. You know what's interesting? I have one of those airline apps, I think, where it'll tell you like where the planes have come from. If I can figure out what it was called. Busy time at the airport right now. Tanner's got multiple planes on the move there. And there's an American flight that's being unloaded with bags. There's the American hub. The Southwest planes are moving around. So yeah, we're still watching this show. Okay, here's what I'll do, because we got a little lull in the action, and I do want to get, well, let's go back to Savannah, because I think he's ready to talk, and I don't want to miss that. We'll take a break after this. Let's listen.
Being at the spot at the time, fixing the problem that they have, and that's why we go into trauma. And so there's people, we're opposite ends of the spectrum.
All right. That's a perfect lead in for us.
Yeah. All right. Hey, y'all. We're ready to go down here. If you can please come to us. Yeah.
And she's, just for the record, she's not talking to us. She's talking to her local TV station there in Savannah.
What's your title here?
I'm an attending trauma surgeon.
Yes, so we are here with Dr. William Bromberg. He is a trauma surgeon here at Memorial. And Dr. Bromberg, I know you just said it, but can you tell us a little bit about your background here at Memorial?
Sure. My name is Bill Bromberg. I'm an attending trauma surgeon, which means I've completed a general surgery residency and then advanced training in trauma and critical care. I've been here since my fellowship since 2002. So I'm actually the longest practicing trauma surgeon here at Memorial right now. And what we do is we take care of the critically ill and injured patients. If the normal ER doctors think they need to be admitted or they're sicker than the normal ER doctor sees, we're sort of like the next step for the critically ill and injured patient.
Dr. Bromberg, I know that you can't talk specifically about the patients that you have here from Fort Stewart, but we know that a great deal goes into preparing to take on critical patients like those patients from Fort Stewart likely are. Can you walk us through the process of what y'all go through when you get a call that you have gunshot victims coming in is.
Absolutely. And that's really what sets a trauma center apart from non-trauma hospitals that have emergency departments. We are expected to have a very vast array of resources ready before the call comes in. So when we get a call, whether it's a gunshot wound or somebody fell off a ladder and the EMS people think they're critically injured, we get a phone call that says they're coming in 15 minutes. At that time, that phone call goes out to an attending trauma surgeon, a critical care fellow who is a resident completing more training, 2 surgery residents, usually a surgery nurse practitioner, 2 specially trained ER nurses, a respiratory therapist, a radiology tech, and a pharmacist. And they all are expected to be waiting for the trauma patient before that person hits the door. So you can imagine how much resources have to be put into that and how much preparation. We also have blood available in the emergency department in a cooler right there, so we can give people blood instantly if we need it. Our blood bank can give us the next 6 units of blood within 20 minutes of that person rolling in the door, with us having the first 2 units available immediately. So here's a plug, guys. Give blood. We need it. So go out there and give blood. What else can I tell you about our trauma system?
I'll ask you a quick question. If you're just joining us now, you can't tell us any specifics about their condition in there, but tell me what it's like when it comes to treating somebody that is a service member. Is there a heavy weight that comes with that? Treating somebody who has signed up to serve our country? I know you treat everybody the same, but there's got to be a different feel in that ER right now.
Absolutely. Savannah is well known to be a military community. Our program director, our trauma program director, my boss basically, completed a naval career prior to becoming our trauma director here. And we've always had a very deep connection with the military. It adds a couple of things. There's usually more people to talk to, right? The commanders are allowed to ask some details that, like, other, if your boss came and asked this stuff, we couldn't tell you. So we have to talk to multi-level people. We also get a great deal of support. They all come in with a buddy, so there's always somebody there with them, which is real touching for us. But yeah, we really care about our military.
And being the only level 1 trauma center here in the area, what does that mean when things like this, incidents of this magnitude happen? How does that affect your staff and your readiness, and you guys being the only ones who can do the job?
Well, we have to be available all the time, and we have to have the resources there all the time, which it costs money. I mean, that's really you imagine all those people just being ready and waiting. We do other stuff between traumas. We take care of the patients that are already admitted, but really it's a great deal of resources that are in preparation. We are the only trauma center between Charleston, Jacksonville, and Macon. That is a huge catchment area, and people come in from across the street, and people come in from hours away, and we have to be there for everybody. And the number of our major traumas has gone up since when I came here 20 years ago. We did 1,200 major trauma admissions a year, about 2,000 admissions. Like, they're not really sick enough to be called trauma, but they get admitted to trauma service. We're up to over 2,500 major traumas last year and almost 4,000 total admissions. So it's, as the population grows, so does the number of people that get hurt, and we're there to provide that service to the community.
Doctor, over the past couple of weeks, we've had a shooting at Oglethorpe.
Ben Aleman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Okay, so we're taking this is live from Savannah, Georgia, where there's been a shooting at Fort Stewart, one of the largest military bases in our country. 5 soldiers have been injured, and some of them were taken here. This is the Memorial Health University Medical Center, about 40 miles from Fort Stewart. We're in Savannah, and we're not getting a lot of details from the doctor, as he has been told not to talk about the patients. We don't even know how many soldiers ended up here at Memorial Health University Medical Center. So this doctor, this is a trauma doctor, he's giving some just basic information about their hospital system and how the trauma center works. But this is a level 1 trauma center, so this would be the best hospital for trauma in the entire area. Again, about 40 miles away from Fort Stewart, where we know 5 soldiers have been shot, and according to reports, 1 suspect is in custody. So we're watching that. I've got a new picture that just came up. We're awaiting a press conference here. Gloria Allred, who's a high-profile attorney, is about to sit down with the media, as well as one of the Jeffrey Epstein victims. They've called a press conference here today. The victim was the first person to have documented proof that she filed a police report against Jeffrey Epstein in 1997, alleging that he sexually battered her. A lot of pressure has been put on the Trump administration, calling for them to release more of the Epstein files, the list of clients that he may have had. And so this victim and her lawyer have called a press conference. We're waiting for that to start. And we're still watching our scenes at the airport as we're waiting for the remains of a World War II soldier to arrive who was killed during Pearl Harbor, and the remains are being returned. Is he on that flight? I'm not sure, but let's take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, as we've got a lot going on.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman here from the Wisconsin Live Desk. Gloria Allred is on the left there, and that is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein on the right. They've called a press conference. Let's see what this is all about.
That she filed a police report against Jeffrey Epstein. In 1997, Alicia Arden, who is here with me today, filed a police report with the Santa Monica Police Department alleging that Jeffrey Epstein committed a sexual battery against her when she met him at the Shutters Hotel in Santa Monica, California. Mr. Epstein said that he was a representative of Victoria's Secret and that he was interviewing and auditioning models to appear in the Victoria's Secret catalog. When Alicia realized that Epstein was using his position to touch her in a sexually inappropriate way, she left and reported him to the police. The details of what happened to Alicia in that room with Mr. Epstein were explained at a press conference that Alicia and I held in 2020. We will forward those details to the press who request them. Unfortunately, no prosecution ever took place. Alicia alleges that she would have been willing to testify against Jeffrey Epstein if the criminal case had been filed, but that never happened. Alicia feels that if Epstein had been forced to face the consequences of his criminal behavior at that time, perhaps many other women and children could have been spared from the sexual abuse and sex trafficking that many were forced to suffer. The failure of the criminal justice system to bring Jeffrey Epstein to meaningful justice was repeated in the cases of many other victims over decades after Alicia's experience with him, and resulted in Jeffrey Epstein's misconduct becoming worse and leading to child sexual abuse and trafficking of underage girls. It included his friend and co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction for conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in sexual acts, conspiracy to transport minors to participate in illegal sexual act, transporting a minor to participate in illegal sexual acts, sex trafficking, conspiracy, and sex trafficking of a minor. She was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for her crimes. Now, decades later, the public and many of Epstein and Maxwell's victims are insisting that they want to know how Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were able to get away with their crimes for so many years. They also want to know who else may have enabled them or assisted them in their sexual exploitation and trafficking of women and children. They believe that the answers are in the unreleased files of the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York and the files of the former United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida and the State Attorney's file in Miami. The battle to learn the truth of what really happened by releasing the files is now in the news almost every day. While the political class takes sides in this battle, the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are often ignored, and the toll that this is taking on them emotionally is often just a footnote rather than a focus of many stories. To date, a few of the more than estimated 1,000 victims of Jeffrey Epstein have decided to break their silence concerning what they believe should happen now and the aggravated trauma that they are experiencing because of the constant reporting of Jeffrey Epstein and Ms. Maxwell's names and the allegations against them.
So that's Gloria Allred right there. Speaking at the microphone to the right is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, and they are trying to bring the focus on the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, as there's been so much talk about releasing more of the files into the investigation to figure out what the truth is behind that terrible case. So we'll keep watching that as, again, we're watching several different things here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. I want to bring it more locally here because there's been some interesting things happening in Milwaukee when it comes to, especially North Avenue. There has been a lot of closures lately, including a new one just announced yesterday. I want to bring in my colleague, a friend of the Wisconsin Live Desk, Jason Calvi. Jason, I don't know if you enjoy a good time out on North Avenue, but man, well, fewer options out there. What's going on?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, there's still a lot of options here on North Avenue. We're north and Farwell, a very popular part on the east side of the city. And I want to show you this tap room over my shoulder. It's a triple tap room and kitchen. And they just announced that they're going to be closing their doors. So they're finished here. I did talk to, so it's 3 breweries in one. That's why they call it the triple tap room. And I spoke with one of the breweries, one of the brewery owners, and he explained that, you know, people just, it's a different market now. People are less likely to go out for those post-work cocktails. Those happy hours after work are less populated with people. People are deciding to drink maybe more frequently at home as opposed to going out to the bar. So this is a thing that we've seen. We've seen a number of breweries in Milwaukee, the brewery tap room kind of places closing in recent years, and this is part of that trend that we're seeing where people are maybe choosing to drink maybe at home instead of going to a place like the tap room. So you've got the tap room announcing their closure this week. If we kind of walk just a little bit over here, there's an Italian restaurant in Contro right there on Farwell. That one closed this year, earlier this year. And then I'm just going to walk around the corner here, and the Collective, Crossroads Collective is also a business that has closed their doors as well. This is a place that kind of had pop-up kitchen, kind of people, food options for you inside there, a food hall, but a lot of interesting food options in here for many different local businesses trying to get their start, really. And a lot of the places that were inside the Collective have gone on to found their own brick and mortar locations in Milwaukee. But the good news here is that even though the Collective is closed, look at this, Ben.
I was just noticing that. A coming this fall sign.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yep, coming this fall. Naughty Plates, the restaurant, will be coming, taking over the entire space. They are doing construction on that right now. So it's not the end of the road for using this space as a food option, and now it'll just be a full restaurant inside as opposed to the pop-up Collective that you had multiple options inside. So still people investing, businesses are still investing in this area. And yeah, there's on the corner here that I'm standing on, 3 different places have recently closed, but there's still people investing in this area and thinking that this will be a good business move to have a full-time restaurant inside of here.
When I talk to people in the restaurant industry, Jason, they tell me, I mean, the margins have just gotten so tight. We're talking increased costs, increase in changes since the pandemic. People just tend not to eat out as much. People aren't drinking beer as much here in the Brew City. I mean, we're talking the younger generation just doesn't go to beer like maybe people our age used to drink beer. So many constant changes, but especially in the restaurant industry, and you're standing on a corner that has seen a lot of change, it just seems like the margins are so tight now.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. People are having less events, so you know, I was talking to one of the workers, one of the servers who worked at the tap room across the street, and she said that they used to do a lot of events, and she said recently they just really haven't been doing those events, which really drove, you know, business. So think about if you're having that birthday party or that graduation party or potentially some sort of other celebration, going away party, for example. You might rent out a space, a couple tables at the tap room, and have your event, have your party there. That's going to be guaranteed income for the tap room. And the server I was talking with said they've been doing less and less of that over time. Now, I spoke with one business owner who kind of shared with me that he didn't think this was necessarily an indictment against this neighborhood. He thought this was a great place to work and have a business. Again, like you said, the profit margins are slim right now, and there's a lot of things going into people, really consumers, changing their practices. Again, those happy hours that used to be a mainstay for a lot of these bar, restaurant, brewery kind of places, less popular nowadays. So we'll see what happens in the future. People still continuing to invest in starting up businesses, as you see behind me, but still some challenges ahead for people that are trying to really support their families and create their dream job of owning their own business.
And meanwhile, there are 2 staples I just want to point out. And maybe this is just me pointing out that I've been on North Avenue a few times to enjoy myself. Von Trier behind you with the other way. Von Trier has they have a chandelier from the Pabst Mansion. You know, the historic Pabst Mansion?
Oh, wow.
If you go in there, it looks closed right now. I'm not sure if it's open right now. But they've got the coolest chandelier. I think they've even changed owners in the last few years and had their future was kind of in question. But right now, Von Trier, love that. And then we have to point out, Jason, if you're standing there, hooligans. Because even a fire.
We just pan over here. I knew you were going to mention. I thought that was the first one you were going to mention, so I was going to start walking. You stopped me on Von Trier, but yeah, hooligans right here. And we have seen a number of people coming in here for lunch and enjoying. I don't know if it's lunch or drinks. I don't know. I wasn't really paying too much attention, but people were sitting out on the tables out here. And again, this is a part of the area here where you've got change in infrastructure, really trying to protect pedestrians. You've got these tables here where people can come and enjoy.
Yeah, they shut the road down here.
Work outside, read a book, whatever. Yeah, they shut the road down here. This is something that we used to talk with Alderman Brostoff. He was the alderman of this area before his untimely death, and he was very much supporter of having this infrastructure like you're seeing here to help protect bikers, pedestrians, and make it a family-friendly place where people can come, enjoy maybe a little food or drink from Hooligans or the tap room or et cetera, come out here and enjoy this part of town.
Have you ever had the chicken wings from Hooligans? Who are you working with? Who's your photojournalist today? Who's behind the camera?
Everybody wants to. Eddie Poser. He is a gourmet food. I mean, he's a foodie. Okay, he knows all the spots.
Has Eddie had the chicken wings? Eddie,
how have you liked the chicken wings? Wow. Okay, so Ben, maybe when you're done with your shift, when you
did he say no? I couldn't hear him.
He hasn't. His answer was no.
Wait, time out a second. Hold on. I got to bring.
Come over here.
Delaney, our producer. Can you please? I don't know. Have you been there and had the chicken wings, Delaney?
I've been to Hooligans, but I've never had the chicken wings.
Oh my God. I'm so disappointed in all of you. You know, I'm the only one who's had Hooligans like their chicken wings are amazing. But I got to give Hooligans a shout out because
never going to have us on the show again.
Yes, I will, to see if I'm going to test you and see if you've eaten the chicken wings at Hooligans. Hooligans had a fire, I think, a year or two ago, and they've survived it. So as we talk about places closing, big shout out to Hooligans for somehow finding a way to keep going. I have a feeling it's because of the chicken wings, even though you guys have never had them. But all right, there are still plenty of options. But I will say, it used to be called Hacienda Brewing, and I know they switched to like 3 different brewers. They had like one of the best beers ever, and I guess the beer is still there, just they can't get it from there. Jason Calvi on the food trail for us today. Open up your wallet and try some of the businesses in the area.
That's right. Got to do that.
Thanks.
Eddie's always supporting the local businesses with his food habits. He definitely appetizer. He had an appetizer.
Yeah.
He had
Eddie
what was that? Ramen
we know
noodles.
That.
It looked amazing. And then by the way, he also this is also Eddie's tea that he got today. So definitely enjoying some local businesses here on the east side of Milwaukee.
Well, you guys are helping the economy, that's for sure. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the live desk, and I look forward to your stories coming up on Fox 6 News at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben.
Jason Calvi. Eddie Poser, who we didn't get to see in front of the camera, but yeah, that man can't eat, so that is an actual fact. But get the buffalo wings down there at Hooligans and then try the other places out, too. I'm excited to try the new thing out that was in the Collective. I love the Collective, but it closed. Hey, well, we've got some press conferences about to start, so I got to take a quick break here on the live.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Ben Handelman from the Wisconsin Live Desk. We only have a few more minutes here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and our podcast, First and North, is going to be right after here. but I do want to show you what we're watching because I think a lot of people will be interested in this. We're waiting for a press conference right now. Live picture from Georgia. This is Fort Stewart, where 5 soldiers were shot this morning on the base. And this is one of the largest Army bases in our country. And we have not gotten a lot of information from the military about what happened there. Now, according to reports, a suspect has been taken into custody. And earlier here on the live desk, you did hear from a trauma doctor that we do know some of those patients ended up about 40 miles away at the Level 1 Trauma Center in Savannah, Georgia. So you can see all of the microphones there, and I just saw a couple members of the military kind of giving a briefing, not information yet, but just giving them a heads up on the logistics of this press conference. But that's a live picture from Fort Stewart. And here on your Fox Local app, you will be updated on the information. Here, let's see as she walks to the microphone. We get some information. Let's listen in. We're running up against the clock here on the live desk, so once it hits 2:30 here, we got to get to it first and north. But let's see if we can get a little bit of information for you here. This base was in a lockdown for about an hour.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead and give my opening comments and we'll turn it over to General Lubis. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Angel Tomko. That's spelled A-N-G-E-L. Last name is Tomko, T-O-M-K-O. And I'm the spokesperson for the 3rd Infantry Division. Today we're here to discuss the incident that took place earlier today on the north side of Fort Stewart installation at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team footprint. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Brigadier General John Lubis. That's spelled J-O-H-N, Lubis, L-U-B-A-S. He's the commanding general of the 3rd Infantry Division. Brigadier General Lubis will make a statement regarding the incident and take a few brief questions. Before we begin, however, I'd like to go over just a couple things with you. We have limited time for questions, given that this is an ongoing investigation, and we may not have all the information that we can share, but we will try to be as transparent as possible. We will not release the name of any victims until the next of kin notification has been complete. We will not speculate as to any intentions, motives, or backstories, given that this is an ongoing investigation. When you ask your questions, we ask that you please give your name and the affiliation in case we need to do a follow-up. And it's a little hard to hear, so please speak up so that General Lubis can hear you and that you can hear him. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will now turn it over to General Lubis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. This morning, shortly before 11 o'clock, an active duty soldier assigned to Fort Stewart, Georgia, shot and wounded 5 of his fellow soldiers here on Fort Stewart. Thankfully, all are in stable condition and all are expected to recover. The alleged shooter is in custody. We have reestablished security. I have lifted all lockdown measures on Fort Stewart, and there is currently no threat to the local community. I'd like to recognize and thank our Army law enforcement and medical personnel and our partners from local, state, and federal law enforcement and emergency services for their quick response and support. I would also like to thank the brave soldiers who immediately intervened and subdued the shooter. These soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties. Our wounded soldiers were initially evacuated to Wynn Army Community Hospital right here on Fort Stewart. All arrived in stable condition, and 3 of the 5 required surgical intervention. 2 have been transported to Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia for additional care. We have identified the alleged shooter as Sergeant Cornelius Radford, an automated logistics sergeant assigned to 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Sergeant Radford has not previously deployed to combat. Sergeant Radford has been interviewed by the Army Criminal Investigation Division and is currently in pretrial confinement, awaiting a charging decision by the Office of the Special Trial Counsel. Right now, our primary focus is first on caring for our injured soldiers and their families, and also supporting the soldiers of the Spartan Brigade. All of the families of the victims have been notified, and we're wrapping our arms around them and ensuring we provide them all the support that we can. Before I take questions, I want to remind you that this is an ongoing investigation and we're still gathering questions. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now take your questions.
General Lewis will be in Coastal News. Can you give us what unit he was assigned to and how long he served in the Army? If you didn't mention that.
Yeah, he is assigned to one of our sustainment units here in 2nd Brigade Combat Team at Fort Stewart, and I will have to confirm how long he served with us. Yes, sir.
Russ Bynum with the Associated Press. As best you can, knowing it's still early, can you walk us through where this happened, what happened in the shooting, and were the victims subordinate to the sergeants, or were they people over him in rank?
Yeah, right now it's premature, and we're gathering a lot of the information. What we know is this soldier, the shooting occurred at the soldier's place of work. It did involve his co-workers. We're still not certain about the motivations, but again, he's been interviewed by Army investigators, and we believe we'll gain more information here shortly. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't have any reason to believe it had anything to do with a training event. Other than that, I can't state the motivations for this soldier.
We've heard that the shooter may have been from Jacksonville, Florida. Are you able to confirm that? We also heard that he has maybe been arrested for DUI recently.
Yeah, at this point, I can't confirm where he's from. We can follow up on that. I do believe he was arrested locally for a DUI that was unknown to his chain of command until the event occurred, and we started looking into the law enforcement databases.
Robin, now from the current, can you tell us whether or not that was a military weapon or whether this was a personal weapon that the person brought on base?
Yes, ma'am. I can confirm it was not a military weapon, and we believe it was a personal handgun. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm very confident in the security of this installation. We've got a great partnership with local law enforcement. As you can see here at our gates, we have armed guards in protective equipment. This one's a bit difficult, and we're going to have to determine how he was able to get a handgun to his place of duty.
Alicia News for JAG. Has the suspect had any prior disciplinary or behavioral issues on base?
No, ma'am, not that we're aware of. But again, it's early in the investigation, but not that I'm currently aware of. I don't have the details on that, but I know that his soldiers in the area that witnessed the shooting immediately and without hesitation tackled the soldier, subdued him, that allowed law enforcement to then take him into custody.
And we've got time for one more question.
I know that you can't speak to the motivation, but if this turns out to be some situation where somebody had extremist beliefs or maybe classified as a terrorist attack, I mean, how does that change the base's response or the base's investigation moving forward?
Yeah, currently we have no reason to believe any of that is the case. However, we continuously assess the threat environment, both in the immediate area and across our Army and DoD installations, and we will address the threat level accordingly.
Do you have the rank of the shooter?
Yes, sir. He was a sergeant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your questions, and again, thanks to the local responders and the local community for their help. Thanks, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I'm going to give you the proper spelling. Excuse me. Hey, I'm going to give you the proper spelling. I'm going to give you the spelling of the assailant. The first name is Cornelius. It's spelled Q-U-O-R-N-E-L-I-U-S. Last name is Radford. R-A-D-F-O-R-D. Radford. He's 28 years old.
And there was some mention he was second logistics. I didn't get all of that.